and welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be talking a bit more about the form builder. So one of the things that you might want to also do is throw in the date time question type. So if you drag that in and put it at the bottom over there, you'll see what it looks like. So this is particularly useful if you were asking someone about a specific date or time. Now a lot of times you may say, it might be a question of when did you apply, right? So you could say, when did you apply? And you might want them to specify a date. So instead of date time, you can say date only, and it'll show up like that. Now it's important, if I press save and then click on this preview button, something interesting is going to happen, which is it's going to show us this view over here, and then I can, if I look at the when did you apply section, if I click on it, it's going to give me a calendar, and I can choose date and year and so on and so forth. And that is pretty cool, and it goes all the way back. It's about 1932. So that is a date time field that you can use. Now again, I'm going to close this tab, and then I'm back here. So let's talk about, I'm going to click the plus button at the bottom to add one more page. I want to show you one more question type, which is fairly advanced. But before I do, I just want to talk about the file upload field for a second. So this is if you wanted to allow people to upload files within a form. But let me just go ahead and discourage the use of this question type within a form. There are only very specific cases where you should use a file upload field, and most of the time, I would say 95% of the time, that shouldn't be used within a form. And the reason for that is we actually have upload file tasks within Review Room that are meant for uploading files, and those should be used instead. One of the reasons is because if those tasks are used instead of this question type, you can actually track when an applicant has uploaded a file. So it's important for you not to use this question type. Now it's there because in some cases it does make sense to use them, but before using it, if you feel like you need to use it, please talk to your account manager, and they can tell you if it's okay to use that question type. The other question type that I wanted to talk to you about, though, is the 3D matrix question type. So if you drag this in, this is pretty interesting because a lot of times you want to allow your customers to your applicants basically to enter in tabular data. So you might want to use this question type. And the great thing about 3D matrix is you're asking a different question type in every column. So for the first column, it's currently a drop-down menu, but I can switch it to a text response. Now we have two. Now let me go to the bottom and click on add again, and now I can add in a third column, right? So sometimes, for example, let's say we're talking about your scores, right? So let's say if this is for admissions into a school, you could say, for example, your SAT scores, and then maybe you require SAT 2 scores. You could say SAT 2 scores, let's say math, and let's say you also require English, so you can say SAT 2 scores English. I realize this doesn't necessarily apply to all cases, but I just want to show you how you can use this particular question type. And for the rows, you can put in something like, first try and then second try, and you can, add in more options there as well. I just want to show you that you can collect tabular data in this way. Now there's something pretty important that I need to talk to you about, and if you go to the first page, here's where you can see it. So by default, all of our question types are optional, okay? But one of the things you can do is make them required. So if you click on any individual question type like this one, you can go in and under options, you see optional is checked, just uncheck that and then press save. Now you can also, well, what if you want to make all questions on a page required? Well, it turns out that you don't have to go one by one, although you could, but you could also select a bunch of questions, right? Right-click on them, and then say mark all as required, and all of them become required. And if you want to verify, you could do that. If you click on this question and then go to the options section at the bottom, you'll see that optional was unchecked, indeed as the right-click menu option said. But what about questions that have multiple rows? What about those? If you click on one, you can do the same thing, right-click, mark all as required, or if there's a specific one that you want to make required, not in the column section because the questions are defined on a per row basis, but for, let's say, a second try, you make that you don't want this, you want this to be optional, but your first try, you want that to be required, because everyone has to do it the first time, but second and third try, maybe they don't need it. So that's it for this tutorial. We're still talking about forms in the next one, so make sure to check out the next tutorial as well.